I grew up until I was 10 in Hamilton, Ontario, and then in foster care. And then I moved to a group home in Paris, Ontario. And I went to school in Brantford, Ontario, which is close to Paris. And then that's where I grew up. I was 20 years old, and I decided to join the military because I had some foster brothers that were in the military. And being from a small town, there wasn't much to do, not many jobs. So I thought, well, I'll join the military like they did and see the world and go from there. I picked to be a steward, and I did that because I really didn't want to have anything to do with rifles. I thought after I got out of the military, I could be a steward on a ship somewhere else, like a cruise ship or something. So I was trying to think down the line what I would do with my military career. I went to boot camp in Nova Scotia. I was still in the closet when I joined the military. And so I was always looking over my shoulder for that. And my foster parents, I hadn't even told them I was gay. So, when I did get out of the military, they didn't even know why. And I didn't tell them until like 20 years later. Once you realize there's other gay people in the military, you become friends with them. And so that's a little help dealing with the situation. It was really difficult because you always had to look over your shoulder. You had to be careful. You had to pretend basically to be straight because you didn't want to lose your job, and you couldn't tell anybody. I had 3 different interviews, and they asked me if I was gay, and I denied it. I said I had gay friends, and I did go to the gay bars, but so did a lot of straight people. Well, after I was being interviewed for being gay in the military, I put in my release after the very first interrogation, and then they interviewed me 2 other times, and I denied everything. I said I did go to gay bars because I knew that they had surveillance, and I said that I was straight. I downright lied because I didn't want to lose my career and my whole life. After I put in my release, it took about a year and a half, maybe a year, before I was released and I was a civilian. When I was in boot camp, I was raped, and I couldn't tell anybody, and it was very difficult. It still hurts, and I know guys don't talk about this kind of thing, but it happened to me, and it happened to another friend of mine who's gay, and it does happen. We were both in boot camp, and so we were both going. He was in my platoon, and he was way bigger than me, and so he threatened to kill me if I ever said anything, and I never told anybody for years. It was pretty hard to deal with when you have to hide that all, for your whole life. Well, it was sad because I signed up for 5 years, and basically they kicked me out at 4.5 years, so I couldn't complete my whole 5 years, and so that was really disappointing because I didn't want to quit. I'm not a quitter, and I wanted to see this through. And after 5 years, my plan was to do what I did eventually. So it just happened a little earlier than I'd planned. I was on Facebook, and a couple of my military buddies from back in the day found me, and they're the ones that told me about this whole lawsuit and that I should join up and be part of it. So I did. And I did get a settlement, which was really helpful because in the past I'd been homeless in Los Angeles and in Vancouver at different times in my life. And so my husband, his father died, and so he got a settlement, from that, and I got this. So we bought a house and put the money towards that, and now we live in merit. These stories should be told, and they should be taught in high schools, and to show that this happened. Discrimination happens in Canada, And it happened recently. It didn't happen 100 years ago. It happened just a few years ago, actually. And it still hurts, and it'll never go away. And I'm almost 60 at the end of this year. And, 40 years later, I'm still holding back tears.